Welcome to the Crimeycade podcast. I am the Mac Conservative Crime Fighter. Take two. No, always technical glitches and stuff, and I'm still learning the nonsense regarding this StreamYard. Um, it's been kind of a mad rush to get this thing going, but here I am, and hopefully I'm gonna get this my slideshow up and running because things have been a little bit temperamental, and our two guests have joined us. Well, while I'm getting all this other stuff, I was going to do a bit of a monologue to start this thing, but due to some technical issues, I'm going to go ahead and bring my first guest in. He is he's the owner of the DanCade, and kind of like what I have. He's created an arcade in his garage, physically built one, and so kind of like what I have in my garage. So first up is DSP Dan Perez. Welcome to our program.
Hey, how's it going, Steve?
Well, I seem to have some technical glitches going on, and I'm trying to update a slideshow, and it keeps wanting to revert to some old version. I don't know why. Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. It's like, I'm going to try this one more time because shouldn't be acting the way it is. Anyway, well, welcome to the program. What's going on? You've got, I see you've got some arcade games in the background. What do you got? What do you have in your area?
Yeah, I got some arcade one-ups behind me. It's kind of how it started for me. Miss Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat. I got a Rampage, and I don't know, a few others. Simpsons. I was looking on Facebook, and there's just like one Facebook group I came across, DroidCade, I think it's called, and they mod the Simpsons cabs, so that one plays quite a few things. And yeah. I think the first one I bought was Mortal Kombat like several years ago. That's kind of what started this obsession of mine.
Okay. And you have some full-size cabinets, right?
Yeah. I've got about eight or nine now full-size cabinets in my garage.
And they're all fighting games?
Mostly. I got several that are, Street Fighter. I got one though that plays pretty much everything.
Multi-K.
Yeah, it's but the beauty is though I have so many like brains, I guess you could call them, motherboards and stuff, that I can swap out whatever, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a fighting game, like I do have we got some sports games running in there. We got NBA Jam running in there. I got Neo Geo in there that it's easy to swap out the carts for that, whatever you want to put in MVS style. So, but yeah, I got several Street Fighter ones. I got Street Fighter Alpha 2. I got Third Strike running on CPS 3. I got a Marvel Superheroes cabinet that kind of I throw in whatever, I could throw in Alpha 3's running in there right now. And then I got a Street Fighter 2 running Hyper Turbo. So
yeah, there's been several people that have been begging for Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting. Well, and something that caught my attention, you set up a party tent in the backyard to host a fighting game tournament. How big was the turnout?
It was quite a nice turnout. Like, it doesn't. I wanted to have it more. Originally, in my head, was going to be more of like a tournament kind of focused on a bracket and reward, but it didn't end up turning out like that way for several reasons. And it kind of turned more into like a party. Like a lot of my neighbors were there, and there was definitely some gaming going on. And originally I wanted to bring all the cabinets out into the tent. Like that was my original vision, or at least some of the cabinets. But it turned out like I had to rent a tent and they were coming very early in the morning to pick it up. And I didn't want to have to, I had enough stuff out there where I had to bring out before they got back, moving cabinets. That didn't sound like fun. So, but I had a computer system running Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6.
Mhm.
And then I had another, actually, I had two systems in there running basically modern games. So, yeah, there was some Street Fighter 6 went down, some Tekken 8. And then, yeah, we had a couple people from the Bloody Wars show up, and Norbert threw down in the garage. I heard he was taking some names in there. So overall, it was a great time. Like, yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I was really glad I did it.
Now, there's been some folks that have been asking me to attend this. Let me throw this on the screen in our chat. The hype man JP Pitts is in. Norbert Vale is here, and the Iron Gorilla Aiden Cordova. Of course, Aiden is waiting in the wings, and I'm just going to pull him up briefly. Hello, Aiden. How you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
All right. I just wanted to show you off for a second. What I'm planning to do with this episode, since the original way which I wanted to start this kind of got a little bit chaotic, and a little bit later in this program, I'm going to ask the audience some advice, because I'm thinking about moving the start time of the podcast to much later in the evening, since it's warmer outside and daylight hours is getting longer. So it might not be practical to do it at 7 o'clock or even 8 o'clock. I might have to start doing this at 9. So everybody in the chat right now, would you be more likely to watch or listen if I was on at 9 instead of 7 or 8? Now, of course, I'm going to accommodate my guests, whoever is, if they're according to the schedules, and if I have to go later. So, anybody in the chat? Yeah. Chime in if you want, if you are more likely to tune in at 9 than 7 or 8. Anyway, Aiden, I'll see you in a little bit. I'll continue the conversation with Dan here, and we'll get to you in a bit. All right. So I've been invited to come out to the DanCade to participate in one of these fighting game tournaments. So when's your next one? And is it going to be on one particular game, or is it going to be like a round, like a series?
Yeah, usually we just kind of feel it out and just kind of let the kind of night take over. I don't know. I mean, you could throw down with whatever. Sometimes we'll play more Street Fighter. Sometimes we'll do like, I picked up something from you guys, the 7-on-7 challenge. So we've started kind of taking our own spin on that. And I think it was like last February, we did like 7-on-7 or 7, you pick random, out of 7, 7, best of 7. And then it was like a random wheel. And we had probably like 45 games on there. And it was all types of stuff, like Super Dodgeball. There was some kind of like, there was a game, I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, Karnal's Revenge. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
A lot of people weren't really good at that game, and for some odd reason, it was like the game of the night. It like kept getting pulled up, and a lot of people got in trouble with that game because, you had to play it. Whatever, some people weren't playing in the sports games, and so like Blitz, NBA Jam was in there. That threw a few people off. So the tournament ended up going to about 3 in the morning. I mean, it was called the Fist of Fury. It was over at Andy's Arcade, and I mean, it was insane. So that was a little bit more hardcore. We don't usually go that hard, but yeah, I don't have anything set in stone. It kind of just happened naturally, honestly. It's been 2 years now since I've been doing what I call Street Fighter Saturday, and it started with me and Andy, a couple friends. We started just playing Street Fighter. Well, we were playing over the pandemic. I think that's when it really started for us. We were playing Street Fighter 5. online over the pandemic, and then once you know we could start getting back together and stuff, it kind of kicked off, and you know we would just sit around and play Street Fighter in my garage, and you know slowly I started getting one-ups, and then we started modding those, and then quickly we decided that you know we needed full-size cabinets. You know, graduated to that pretty quickly. And so yeah, it's something I'll do usually once a month. I try and do it at least once a month.
Now you're modding these one-up cabs. You know, initially was kind of a purist. It's like I wanted the full-size cabinets. In my garage is, you know what? I'm going to show this off in this video. I got to remove one of these. So now I've, one of the things I've discovered about StreamYard, or at least the non-subscription version, is there is a 10 video limit, and I had to yank something out in order to put my video in, or at least another video in. Let's go with this. Let's see if we can get it in there. There we go. I'm going to hide that banner. This is the back of my garage. This is, I don't know when I filmed this, but it's been a while because I've kind of messed with it a little bit. Obviously, my title belt. I wanted I wanted that C2E2 belt to hang right beside those, but it was not to be.
It's always next year, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a long year because the goal was win 6 different titles, or at least be the second 6-pack, but that was not to be.
Yeah.
James White is that tough.
I believe
and of course, so I have the full-size cabinets, but I have these others. That's the other one. Then the stuff on my walls. And that's my little area.
Nice. Very nice.
It was a dream to get this, because all those games originally were in the basement. And if I wanted any more games, I did not want to mess with stairs. So
no, stairs and cabinets don't mix. I know that.
And plus, I'm not strong at all. I'm not a strong person at all. And plus, the stairway is only wide enough for one, so I had to be on the bottom and to control the cabinet. If you lose your stance going up with that cabinet,
oh yeah,
that it may all be over for you.
Oh yeah.
And there was one moment where I kind of felt I was not braced, and if I lost that cabinet, lost control of, I was done for.
Oh yeah. At this point, like, I'm not like Doc or anything, but I've probably had my hands in moving like 14 full-size cabinets at this point. And each one of those cabinets has its own story and its own messed up place and its own way on how either I got it back here or over it back to Andy's. Like, it's just insane sometimes what we'll go through to get these things. And Andy's bringing them down in his basement. I just wheel them into the garage. So
yes, the point of the garage. Yeah, I had a new garage built. The point was get everything on the ground floor, so I don't have to ever mess with stairs. If I wanted to get any more or trade them in. Not sure what that.
Crazy. Everybody's going crazy for my Krispy Kreme cheeseburger I made at the 420 party. What's up, JP? You have to come by.
Yeah, third strike. Yes, I do have a little bit of news about my best of 7 challenge with JP.
Oh, here we go.
Well, that will be during my monologue segment that I originally wanted to lead off with, but technical difficulties forced me to kind of switch it up on the fly. Well, tell me one of your stories about the acquisition of the cabinets.
Yeah,
Maybe the first one.
The first one, what was the first one? It was a Z-back. I got it off this kid. I found him on OfferUp. He wanted $300 for this cabinet, and it had a Marvel versus Capcom A and B board in it, and it had no monitor, just a control panel, and it was junk. It was absolute junk. And this kid
had the board, didn't it?
Yeah, it had the board in it, and that was, I figured that board is worth at least $300. So off the bat, I was getting my money's worth no matter what. And brought it home. And, the kid I bought it from, he was just in over his head. He bought it, thought maybe he'd do something with it. I don't know how he originally got it, but he didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know how to fix it. He didn't have a monitor. And so I brought it home. And then right around the same time, I got two of them very quickly. It's kind of funny. There was like this arcade. It wasn't even an arcade. It was a bowling alley that I used to go to in the 90s. And we go to my friends. It was on North Avenue in Melrose Park. We used to call it the Chicken Bowl because there was this like chicken place right next to it. We call it the Chicken Bowl. And there was a little arcade, not even an arcade, just a bowling alley with some games. And me and my buddies would play a lot of Mortal Kombat in there in the 90s. And anyways, I found this ad for this woman was selling this machine. And I was haggling with her, trying to get her to talk down. And the funny thing about it is talking about stairs. There was this old like stairwell that went down and then went into the bowling alley. And when I was looking at pictures, I'm like, that can't be the same place. And sure enough, it was. Like it had turned into a banquet hall. And I don't know, they got shut down or the pandemic for something. I'm not sure what. There was stuff on the windows still, but they were just, getting rid of everything. And they had a few machines there. They had a Miss Pac-Man there. They had a San Francisco Rush. But I got the Marvel cabinet out of there. And that was pretty rough getting it up those stairs, I ain't gonna lie. And then I brought that one home. And the monitor was very rough on that one. I got it home and I was not happy with it. It was almost unplayable. The reds were really off. And it was around this time that I found this guy selling monitors, CRT monitors in Dayton, Ohio. And these are the best. I mean, it's really hard to find. I mean, you can find a monitor that like is just, no burn, colors magnetic. That's what this guy does. He recaps them. When I went there, he had like 40, maybe 50 monitors all up on these shelves that he was just servicing and stuff. So I've actually made the trip out there twice and filled my van with the monitors and brought them back, and they're just immaculate. They look so good. It was worth the drive. So that, because like I said, that when I forgot the Street Fighter one, I didn't have a monitor for it. So once I got that in it, it was like, okay, wow. Like I refurbished, it looks like a brand new Street Fighter 2 cabinet. I mean, the thing's probably worth $2,000 now. I bought the thing for $300, like, I mean, so yeah. And then I started hooking up with Jeremy over at the Prince. The Prince Arcades, and he's been a great resource to have. I've bought several of my cabinets off of him. He always kind of gives me a good deal on it, and we've done some haggling back and forth together. So I got a few of my cabinets. That's where I got my CPS 3 was from him, and he got me a Tekken 5 cabinet as well. So it's kind of funny that the Tekken 5, man, like, it was messed up when he sold it to me, and it's kind of strange. That's kind of a weird machine. It's basically a PlayStation 2, the Namco 256, and it runs like a PlayStation 2, they got like a CD and then like a little like memory card dongle thing was like the security feature on that one. And then it had that machine was weird because it had 2 slots where you could put PlayStation 2 controllers. Like I don't know if you ever remember that, but like you could stick your PlayStation 2 controller in the side of it. And yeah, I have been to Prince's. And then it also has like this. I think it was one of the first cabinets that you could bring your data in from home and like put it in the arcade machine. So it had a lot of weird stuff in that machine, you know. And so when Jeremy sold it to me, the player 1 didn't work, and he had his tech like go through it. He didn't know what was wrong with it, so he gave me a good price on it, and he was like, "Well, if you can do something with it, great, you know." And so I got it, and originally I was like, "Do I turn this into a cherry cabinet?" But I really wanted to keep it Tekken 5, and so eventually Andy fixed it for me, and he did a workaround where he like was able to go through that PlayStation 1 slot, and we bought an extender for it to jam an extender or something, and was able to bypass it through that PlayStation 2 port, and it worked. Tekken 5 worked up to about a month ago. I had switched over some stuff. Well, actually, when I got an NBA Jam a few months ago, and when I put it in, I'm just running out of space. I'm like, there's no more room for any more cabinets, and I couldn't reach the Tekken button to turn the power on. So I got one of those hubs, like those smart hubs, where I could turn the power on from my phone. That was a big mistake. Big mistake.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't see this one coming at all. So there was I was sleeping maybe about a month ago, and we had one of these big storms roll through about 11 o'clock at night, and I was like half asleep, and I noticed the power went off. There was a power surge, and I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, it turned a couple lights that I have on in this room on, and
turn them on instead of off.
Yeah, like the LED ones were like turned it on, and so it turned on and off. Like some things turned on and off, and that's exactly what happened in my garage. That smart hub went on and off, and so a couple of my games were running for all night. I had a doctor's appointment the next morning. Usually I'd go in there and check it, and I went to the doctor, so I didn't check it till about noon, maybe 1. I went in there. I was like, well, I should go in there, and Jam was on fine, and the Tekken cab was like the power was on, but I was like, wait, that should be on. I heard it running, and I didn't see anything. And so I didn't know how bad the damage was. I was like, what's going on? I assumed it was the monitor, and it's a special 27-inch CRT monitor, but it was way worse than that. The monitor got fried. The DVD ROM got fried. The Namco 256 got fried. So that was kind of unfortunate. But I jumped on it right away. I was like, all right, well, I just kind of had my eye on this before, because like I said, this is a possible road I went down originally with the cabinet, and I was like, do I want to turn it into something else? And so there's a popular video on YouTube about these Unico 26-inch monitors. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those.
No.
They're this company. They do Neo Geo stuff. That's kind of what they're known for, like reproductions of Neo Geo stuff. They're actually putting out a Japanese style candy cabinet, and I got one on pre-order. It was supposed to be here in April. Now they're saying July. I'm real excited. That's probably going to be my final cabinet. I'm going to put it back in here, but what's going to be nice is I'll be able to, it's 2 pieces. It's like a base and then a countertop. So I could very easily move it outside for when we're going to do, tournaments and stuff, and then keep it in here for when I just want to play. But yeah, they do the monitors as well. Some mixed reviews, some purists don't like them. I had my doubts about, like, do I want to go to like an LCD, especially after having these CRTs, these beautiful CRTs. But I got to tell you, I was shocked at how good this thing looks. So we got it, we put it in the Tekken 5, and now I got it running PC with coin ops on it, and I mean, it's beautiful. I love it. It's got a subwoofer in there. Like, I'm having way more fun on it, honestly, than I did when it was just Tekken 5. So turned out to be a really nice. I don't know. I guess bad luck turned good. I don't know.
So my garage, if a storm's coming, I make sure that everything's unplugged in there, except for the Wi-Fi, because I have a spare in case it's ever fried.
Yeah.
But sometimes I know this, and one of those I have to kind of keep it plugged in because the monitor's like real blurry when you turn it on, but if it's got a charge on it, it doesn't blur when you turn it on. I don't know what's up with it. It seems like it had developed a little bit of issue after getting it out of the basement, but I really wanted to take the monitor out of the cabinet before I moved it. But I couldn't figure out how to get the monitor out safely because I wasn't sure how it was mounted. Was this mounted from behind or mounted from the front? You'd think they'd all be mounted from the front.
Right.
Some aren't. That Mania Challenge, which formerly was a keyboard, the monitor looks like it's mounted from behind, so I don't know how to take it out safely.
Oh, I got quite a few scares. I mean, Andy's always the one to like take the monitors out, man. Like, I've heard too many stories of old like operators getting the zap of a lifetime. Bzzz, if you touch the wrong thing on the monitor.
Well, yeah, the frame. There's handles, or there's
this method. There's this method. You gotta
there's a method. Yes.
You gotta you gotta pop the power out. You gotta like basically like ground the power out, or you're supposed to before you do that. And I don't know.
There's certain parts of the monitor you can hold on to, and that's the parts that I hold. Now, if I have to wear gloves, I'll wear gloves.
Yeah.
The X-Men, the monitor did have to come out. Now that one's easy one. That was the easy one to get out. So I took that one out because that's so daggum heavy by itself. And the rest of the cabinet is still, once I got that out, then that drastically, well, that cuts the weight in half basically for that cabinet.
That Tekken monitor is crazy heavy. That 27-inch monitor, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It'll break my back moving that thing.
So let's go back to the very beginning. When you started gaming, what was the game that got you playing? Video games
yeah. I was probably 3, 4. My older brother got a ColecoVision. So I started playing games like Donkey Kong and Frogger and Mousetrap and Time Pilot, but we didn't have any arcades in the town I grew up in. So
where was that?
I grew up in Oak Park. It's kind of a dry town as far as arcades, Oak Park, Illinois, and so
just an out of the way suburb.
Yeah, and I don't know. They were weird about like not having like, I don't know, bars. It was a dry town too. They were just like they weren't very friendly about opening like, I don't know, establishments like that. So I just had to get them wherever I could,
Yeah. Like an urban hermit town?
Kind of. Was weird. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, they just had a lot of weird rules in that town, and you couldn't have arcades. That was one of the rules. So anytime I'd go to like a pizza parlor, like a Pizza Hut or Home Run Inn or something, they'd always have something in the lobby, and hotels a lot of times. I spent a lot of time in Wisconsin as a kid. My mom's from northern Wisconsin. So that was kind of like where I spent a lot of times in arcades. Something to spend the time up there. I love doing it. And like, I always kind of got a free pass as it was like a vacation or whatever. So that's where I spent a lot of times, like going up to like these malls and finding these video arcades in Wisconsin. And then I consider myself more of a 90s gamer. I'm not right. I'm more of like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Final Fight, those games. That's really my era that I grew up in. So Yeah, I
So
think I
what
was
was
like 8.
Go ahead.
I was thinking I was 8 years old. I got an NES, and then it was like over from there. You know.
Now, what was your first arcade? Do you remember what arcade game you played first? I assume it. Well, if you played Donkey Kong on the ColecoVision, I assume you played the actual arcade game when you found one, right?
Yeah, for me, the big one was Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man was like that was the reign supreme. My brother loved that game. He was really good at it. There was this one like kind of like supper club / motel in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. That's where my mom's from. That's where they do Line and Kugel's Brewery. There was a place called The Flame in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and they had a Miss Pac-Man in the lobby. And yeah, I mean, I just remember dumping so many quarters into that one. And, you know, a lot of times, like, we'd stay in like a Holiday Inn or something, and maybe they'd have Dig Dug, and then maybe like 1942. Like, if you were lucky, they had those two games in there. Yeah. And then, like, I don't know, about the time I was 18, 19 years old, like, I had gone through phases. Like, you know, I'd gotten Super Nintendo, and then, like, you know, I remember when PlayStation came out. You know, N64. And about the time I was 18, 19, I got a job at Babbage's in Funkoland. And so
I remember those.
Remember those? Yeah, I started working at the one in North Riverside, and I was just kind of a seasonal employee, and I was really good at it. And I went to go pick up what I thought was gonna be my last check, and they're like, "Hey, you want to be an assistant manager? You want to get management?" And I was like, "Okay," you know. And then I quickly became a manager, and they transferred me to the Golf Mill Mall. And that was like right about the time where Dreamcast came out, right before Dreamcast. Because pretty soon after moving up to Niles and working in the Golf Mill Mall, I imported a Sega Dreamcast. And that's really kind of started my, I would say, obsession with the fighting genre. You know, I remember there was still an arcade in that mall, and I would say that was probably like, that's what I feel like, the last of the arcades. Like, that was to me like the end. You could kind of see the writing on the wall, so to speak. You know, but I remember like I had Power Stone at my house. I would play Power Stone, and then it wasn't even fair because then I'd go into the arcade and I just wreck people. You know, I just wreck people on the machine.
You mentioned that game.
Oh yeah, I've been playing that one since day one.
You versus JP Pitts at Power Stone. How many times have you beaten JP? Because he seems to be the juggernaut.
You know, I think we only played once, and he was beating me, and that was yeah, we didn't really get a chance to play too much. So I want a rematch. I think I'll do better this time.
How about a best of 7 on it?
I'll do a best of 7 on it. I'll do a best of 7 all day on that game. Yeah, I had it running on the 1-Up before, and like I said, it's just, you know, they don't do it for me. Like it sparked the idea in my head of like building the arcade, but eventually I was just like, can't do these, you know. So I mean, Power Stone playing on the Tekken 5 cabinet, it's beautiful. It's awesome.
I didn't mention this earlier. Yeah, the 1-Ups I have that are not the bar toppers that I built, those were acquired at auction. I didn't go out of my way to buy them. I just got them on the cheap. But,
right. Most of mine too.
He heard his name. So JP versus DSP at Power Stone, best of 7. What do you have to say about that? We'll see if he answers.
Oh, do it.
So so you said gamer of the 90s, you were drawn to fighters. What was it about the fighting games that made you want to specialize in it more than just scoring games?
Yeah, you know, I've never been a high score gamer. I don't know. I got ADD, a little bit of anxiety, and it's something like I like psych myself out or something. Like even this Miss Pac-Man, I've been trying to beat my brother's high score on this, and like anytime I start to like get close, like I start to panic in my head and like I self-sabotage. It's always better. I learned to like not look at the score at all and just focus on what I'm doing. I don't know. I've just never been a high score gamer. And so beat 'em ups was always a big genre of mine. Double Dragon, games like Bad Dudes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Final Fight, I just eat those games up when I was a little kid. But then when Street Fighter 2 came out, I mean, I'll never forget that. That changed everything. And even Mortal Kombat, and just like, I just remember being like really intimidated when I would find an arcade, walking into like an unknown arcade and just like walking up to the Mortal Kombat in 93. I mean, just watching these dudes sitting on this like one quarter just slaying, I don't know, it's pretty intimidating, but yeah, I just was always drawn to it. And then once like PS I remember when PlayStation 1 came out, that was kind of like where I felt like you were pretty close to getting the arcade experience at home, and we were getting much more a lot more fighting games in the catalogs, like Battle Arena Toshinden, the Tekken. I remember Tekken and Tekken 2 were just so big. I remember like there was a point in the 90s, you walked into a house full of people, there was like 10 people like just sitting around playing Tekken 2 like all night long. And so yeah, really Tekken was like really big, influential of like just doing an all-night session. I guess for me, like that's another thing. Like, we didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid either, so like I was lucky to like get $5-10, when we went to Wisconsin. Here, go play. Like, I didn't. It was always kind of like out of my reach financially to like spend a lot of time on these machines as a kid. So it's like once you got them in your house, and they were pretty close to Arcade Perfect. I remember getting really into Saturn too. Like, I guess when I was working at Babbage's, I started to get more into like community, and this is before like the internet really was like a thing as far as gaming, and you really had to like meet people. And there were some people in that scene that I met and kind of guide me in certain like what games I should be playing. And then eventually, I had a Dreamcast, and this was kind of like my first kind of like heavy competition kind of DanCade scenario. Was it like 99? I think it was summer 99 to 2000. Man, we were playing Power Stone, Third Strike in my basement. I had this crazy setup down there, and we got heated a couple times. Like a couple fights almost happened. Like people getting a little bit too worked up over the games, and
a bit of poor sportsmanship or being a sore loser.
We used to talk a lot of trash too, though. We probably get under their skin. If somebody did throw a punch at me, I probably deserved it. So, but yeah, you got to have thick skin. You got to have thick skin if you're coming to play with us. To this day, you got to have thick skin. But
now we're looking at a match right here. This is WrestleMania. This was you versus Nicole. Just to get a sample of your gameplay and fighters. This is just the first. Yeah, I was rushing like a madman to get some video put together, or at least sample one-on-one fighters. And well,
all right.
Yeah, a little more prep time. But have you cut any promos? I mean, you see mine all the time. I was like,
no,
I have fun making them.
I'm going to start creating a lot more content this year. That's one of my plans, and it's going to happen. So you'll be seeing a lot more from coming out of DanCade, and as far as content and stuff, we're going to start streaming. Originally I was going to stream the 420 event, but it just got a little bit too crazy. It just kind of turned into something a little bit different. But yeah, streaming and creating content, promos, yeah, You'll be seeing a lot more of that.
Yeah, I haven't cut any promo. Similarly, I'm probably going to cut promo because, I mean, this is going to be happening soon, and this is the next Blade Wars tournament. I have to cut a promo for that. Boy, that took it out. Put that back in.
You've been getting ready for that, or?
I have to figure out when I can go back to the Galvin Ghost Arcade to play the thing.
Yeah.
I don't own a PS2, a working one anyway. Obviously not the game. I wanted to, I have this Fightcade set up, but Fightcade doesn't support that game, so I can't practice it at home.
Yeah, that's one of those games. It's because of the Namco 256. For whatever reason, they haven't cracked the code. There's no ROM for it. It's kind of funny because I was looking into like bringing in the game from Japan, like ordering it, and I almost did the day before my Namco got fried, and I'm so glad I didn't because it wasn't exactly going to be cheap. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do it. And then I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I decided, you know what? I'm just going to try the PS2 version. And that's probably pretty close.
Did you find anybody to fix the boards? Or is it just beyond saving?
It might be. It might be. I could spend another $100 and order a replacement board and try that. But there's a few things. It's definitely not a lost cause. There are a couple things that I could try. But for now, I gutted everything out and I put it all away, and we'll probably pull it out again and see if we can get it running. But
Doug Fox can't fix it.
We'll see. I mean, like I said, never say never.
Nicole, Nicole, I did play her at Tekken 3. I just literally wore me out. Beat me in the initial match. I won in the rematch, but doggone, I was huffing and puffing. That's not normal for me because I've never been kind of out of breath playing. Well, it's a fighting game, so I don't know. I don't know why I was out of breath. Yes, I played Nicole twice, of course. Oh, what's this?
You got to work on your stamina. You got to work on your stamina, man. That's something, honestly, I quickly learned about Bloody Wars. Me personally, I was like, those few minutes you're up there, you're using a lot of energy. Your nerves are going. Like, you got to make sure you're at the right posture. You know, you got a good stance.
Yeah.
You're hydrated, all the above.
Well, it also doesn't help. Well, so does a 200-mile commute beforehand.
Oh, I don't know how you do that.
I shouldn't be doing that. That's the point.
That's brutal.
I shouldn't be running up there 200 miles. And that's the end of that video. Let me switch over to one of your matches on Street Fighter 3. This is against Andy. Yeah, 200-mile commute and back the same day. I said I was not going to do it again, and I've done it a few more times. Yes, I know. I played all three females at Tekken 3. So I got to jump this a little bit because I edited this down. There. Yeah, they got to correct the nameplates here. Anyway, yeah, I picked up Kuma, and I pretty much stuck with him the entire thing, even though I could have gone to Ryu or Ken at any point. But the Raging Demon...
I saw you trying to pull that off a few times.
I tried.
It's a gamble, It's like you go for it, but you better land it.
Well, it's the harder portion. The harder deal was just doing the button combination in rapidly, to even launch it.
Right.
And I can tell you, throwing a mere fireball only seems to go about 50 to 75% of the time, even though I do the quarter circle I know seen other players to manage to pull it off every single time, and I don't know why it doesn't always go when I throw it.
You just gotta like not even think about it. You just gotta have it down. That's the only thing I can tell you. But it's a gamble. If you're gonna commit that many button inputs, it'll be interesting. They're adding Akuma to Street Fighter 6 in like a couple weeks, and that was one of the mysteries, I guess, that had everybody up in arms was how are they going to implement Raging Demon with modern control scheme, because people were complaining like you can't push one button, and I don't know if you're familiar with that. They have like 2 different control schemes in that game, or like they have the natural button layout for Street Fighter, and then something they call a modern, which is basically like 1 button commands. So
basically easy mode.
Easy mode, yeah, which is kind of controversial. And I guess to like balance it, those players that choose to play modern and get less health.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's kind of I get annoyed with it. I get annoyed with playing modern players online when I run into them, and just like whatever. All right.
Okay. This question came in from Israel Bahina. What happened with Capcom versus SNK2?
Oh no. Big Bahina, man. He came in.
The Beast Man.
Whew. Yeah. Yeah, so we were watching the Canelo fight on Saturday night, and like I said, this Tekken 5 machine, it's hot. It's running all the Naomi stuff. So yeah, we put in SNK versus Capcom 2, and Israel was just taking names with Blanca. I don't think we could beat Blanca. We tried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. And I know he's been waiting. I know he's been waiting because I've been holding my own versus Bahina, and not in that one though. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a fierce Blanca.
Okay.
I'll get him next time though.
All right. You also have, something in here about the Summer Bash. When is the you're going to be holding a Summer Bash, I guess. When's that going to be?
I am. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Oh, okay. Well, I
mean, we usually.
I guess when is your next? I guess in-house fighting game tournament.
I mean, we'll probably do something this month. So I'll probably do something because it's the weather's nice. Now that the weather's nice, it doesn't always have to be on a Saturday night either. My one buddy has Tuesdays off, so sometimes we do it on Tuesdays. We call that one Turned Up Tuesday. And but yeah, I don't know. I'll probably try and get something. I know we got Memorial Day weekend though this month, so that kind of takes a weekend out, and a lot of people got plans that weekend. So I don't know, either early June or probably early June, let's just say. But it doesn't have to be a big event either. Anybody who wants to reach out and do some gaming, just let me know. And like I said, I'm real close to the Ghost, so it's like if you guys are ever out there, just hit me up.
Okay. So somebody is bugging me. My chat is blowing up. Well, not the hold on a second. Something's not right here. Let me remove that a second.
Evil Ryu.
I don't know what that is. It looks like JP Pitts wants to say something. My chat's being blown up, and a miscommunication with somebody. So let me invite. So JP Pitts wants to announce the next Bloody Wars game, so I'm going to go ahead, bring him in, let him make that announcement. I'll bring in Aiden to chime in on this. I'm gonna.
It's a pretty big announcement.
Aiden is here.
Whoa.
Now let's get JP in here. Hopefully he
What's up,
jumps
Aiden?
in a second. Anyway. Do you have yes, you do have a Twitch channel, DSP?
Yeah, I haven't.
You said you were going to stream your next
DSP.
fighter.
Yeah, it's DSP_effects.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting, let's watch this other video I have. It's this was against Aiden Cordova. Now there was a bit of technical difficulty going on.
Yeah,
he stopped the
fight.
Here we go. He made it in. Let me pause this. Let me bring in JP. Let me hide this a second.
Steven Lucas.
All right, I'm gonna let you have the floor because I gotta take care of someone who a little bit of a miscommunication happened.
No problem, not at all. What's up, DSP? I love your stream, man. I love what's going on. Love the beautiful interview that you're having with Steven. Love the show, man. And then Aiden Cordova, I see you next to the spotlight. I see you, man. I see you. You look good in there, man.
Thank you.
How's everyone doing tonight? I'm going to keep this brief because I know they're having a little interview thing with Steven. I want to keep this brief. And I know I've said that if Steven Lucas beats me in the best of 7 that we have going on, he can overrule what I have to offer for the next game. But as of right now, the next Bloody Wars game that's going to get thrown down in the Galloping Ghost Arcade is part 2 of Power Stone.
Oh, no. Get out of here.
Power Stone part 2. And if Steven has a problem with that, he can beat me at the best of 7, and he can overrule that. So, as of right now, you're hearing it first, folks. Power Stone 2, next Bloody Wars game after Super Dragon Ball Z.
So does that mean you guys are going to have Power Stone 2?
No, part 2. So we had Power Stone on February 2023. So we're doing it again pretty much. So part 2 of Power Stone.
Oh, Power Stone. I get it.
Power Stone 1, part 2.
I get it. I see what you did there. Okay. All right. I get it. I like it.
I know you have the, what's it called? I know you have the 1-Up Arcade that has Power Stone in it, DSP, so I'm expecting some practice out of you.
Like I said, JP, you got to come and check it out. It's on Tekken 5 now. It looks great.
Oh, really? Great. No, I have to check it out now. Okay.
It's something crazy. So it's been making it more in the rotation.
For sure. Aiden, you're going to practice?
That's exciting.
Yeah, baby.
Give me one quick. I'm gonna let Steven take over, guys. Give me one quick second.
Okay. I had to take care of some Facebook messages I was getting from multiple parties, and this is the little bit of chaotic things happening. So,
did you catch my announcement, Steven?
I was listening in. I was trying to dispatch some instant messages, including somebody that I asked to be on the podcast, and I did not get a confirmation, and then he just assumed he was booked.
Sure, it is.
I would have made a graphic if I confirmed it, but since I didn't say he can do it this day, or didn't hear back, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit.
I bet you will, Steven. I'm going to let you guys get to it. Just briefly pointed it out. Power Stone, part 2 of Power Stone.
Now, wait a minute.
What's up?
I thought you got Power Stone 2, the sequel to original Power Stone.
That's what I thought at first, too. That's what I was
thought
like, wait a minute.
No, I wish we did. That would have been a better tournament, but I mixed up my words. Part 2, because we did Power Stone in the past. So part 2 of Power Stone 1.
Okay, DSP, you might have a chance to win the title.
I'm gonna go for it. That's for sure. I'm gonna go for it.
That's if I don't participate. But I don't participate in tournaments, so you have a shot, DSP.
Somebody wants to know the date.
Well, we're gonna get to the date. We're gonna get through. We'll have everything confirmed. I think a week before Super Dragon Ball, taking one step at a time. We'll come up with a date as time goes on, but yeah, you guys are gonna get Power Stone after Super Dragon Ball Z.
Okay. And Norbert Vale says last time he checked, he won the first one. So
Well, and it's gonna be
Vale
more
versus
people this time.
DSP. Okay.
The thing about that was that me and Dad, we weren't there,
Okay.
so this is gonna be a nice change of pace.
Aiden's calling people out.
So is your dad. so is Damien.
Last minute change, folks. It was just in my head. I just had to put it out there. I'm gonna leave you guys to it because I know you guys got an interview going. DSP, Aiden, love you guys. I hope you guys have a good interview with Stephen Lucas. Next Monday, the Monday of next week, I will be making an appearance at the Galvin Ghost Arcade. I will, instead of pinball, you guys are gonna see me here at the arcade now. So just saying, if you guys want to come out and see me on Monday, come out. I'm always here. So let the games begin. Let's catch y'all later.
Have a good night, JJ.
All right, see you, Drew.
All right. All right. So I
That's
think
exciting.
yeah. I had multiple people messaging me. It's like so I got that all settled. I think I got that settled for now. So DSP, I have more questions for you, but it's going to be in a round table segment.
Sure.
Is there anything else we need to cover with you before I move you to the green room for a little bit?
Just going back to Power Stone 2, I mean, that's on my next project. So, like, now that I got the Tekken 5 cabinet, I'm waiting for this Cherry cabinet from Unico. Like I said, it got delayed to July. But my next thing is I want to get them linked together and then run Power Stone 4 players. Power Stone 2, 4 players.
Mm-hmm.
So that, if I can get that up and running, that'll be very exciting because you don't see that very often. So
okay, all right. Hopefully all the chaos is settled down for a little bit. So I'm gonna send you off to the green room for a little bit, and I'll bring you back for the round table, and we're gonna talk with Aiden for a bit. See you later.
Yep.
All right, Aiden, welcome in to the Crimeycade and all the chaos that I'm going through at the moment. Woo! Anyway, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How about you?
Like I said, chaos.
Yeah.
All right, so let's have at it. You got into fighting game, or at least you started it. You're pretty much a rookie in the fighting game scene. You pretty much started with Tattoo Assassins. As I reviewed old interviews and stuff. So what was, I guess, what got you in, or at least what convinced you to start into the fighting game tournament scene?
Well, my dad basically told me about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll give it a try.
Mm-hmm. What did you play before, or what were you good at before you cast your lot into the Lay Wars?
I played a lot of Ultra Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5, while also doing a bit of Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 11, and yeah, basically a bunch of other fighting games.
Now, what drew you? Now, you're 18 years old, just 18.
Yep.
Your nickname is the Drunk Gorilla.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I heard.
Yep.
How can you be a drunk gorilla if you're not old enough to drink yet?
Oh, I could be drunk in many other ways.
Many other ways, such as. Oh, I hear somebody in the background. I believe that's Damien.
Yep.
Is that you? Welcome.
Yep.
Floating into the shot. Okay. Tell me about Aiden, about the drunken gorilla nickname.
Well, when I was younger, back when I was a little lass, lad, yes. When I was a little lad, basically, my dad gave me the nickname because I was so crazy at the time. It was like I was drunk, but I wasn't.
You weren't stumbling around. You just were.
Not really. More like back my head into a refrigerator until it dented the door.
I better say that again because the audio just got garbled.
Oh, yeah. Crazy as in bashing my head in against a refrigerator door until it made a dent.
Okay, not crazy as a fox. You were just going berserk.
Yes, pretty much. And yeah, no like scars, no nothing.
Okay. So go back to beginning. What got you into video gaming? What was the lure?
Well, yeah, when I was younger, I basically my dad introduced me to it, seeing as though he's like, hey, you want to play fighting games? And pretty much he pretty much beat me in the games to get better, basically learning as I went along. And I think even before that, we had like MK9. So that was another thing. We played a bit of MK9, which is kind of what's pretty bloody. It's Mortal Kombat. So yeah.
Have you met any of the Mortal Kombat actors yet? Well, you've had to have met Rich DeVizio because he came to one of the tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, we met. I definitely did met him back at the tournament.
Anybody else?
Not that I know of, but I think yeah, no, no one else.
Okay. You were also the winner of this. Actually, I shouldn't jump it around. What's the first video game you played? I guess I don't know if I got that answer.
Yes, I think the video game that I first like really played was like it had to either be MK9 or Street Fighter 4. So like some like those games, it wasn't like I've only played modern games, even though at the time they were pretty modern.
Okay, so you pretty much started with fighting games right away. Have you played any? Is there any other games that you've played that are not a fighting game?
I played the Lego games. Basically like Lego Marvel Superheroes, Lego Batman, well, yeah, Arkham Knight and God of War. Basically like adventure games that are not like directly fighting games.
Okay. Any of the arcade classics? Have you tried any of those?
I did try Donkey Kong, and yeah, I mean it was fun. It was fun. Did a little bit of Punch Out, so yeah.
So a few times you've gotten close to tournaments you've played in. I'm going to put up one of these matches you've had previously while we're talking. Gosh, this is Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh yeah.
I didn't do so well. Ed actually knocked me out of the whole thing.
Hmm.
Didn't expect that, but then again, maybe I'm just not good at fighters. I don't.
Yeah, I was practicing with Liu Kang even before like the tournament. I was just like experimenting with characters, and Liu Kang was actually like my main back in MK11. So when I saw him, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. But then before that, I loved Baraka. Baraka was like my man back then.
Mhm.
It was just insane.
So MK is one of your specialties. What others are
Well,
you gravitate to?
in terms of characters in the Street Fighter Mortal Kombat universe.
Well, the fighters and then the fighters you use in the game. The particular fighters. Like a Street Fighter, like, I don't know, what is it? Fatal Fury or King of Fighters or Primal
Yeah.
Rage?
Well, I definitely do like do a bit of like Street Fighter and and characters. Yeah, I mean, I experiment a lot in terms of like when I'm picking a character in a game I never really played before. I'm like, okay, let's try him, see how it goes.
Now, Galloping Ghost has about 100 different fighters. Have you tried to chase after any of the house highs or the world records?
No, I have not. Because generally, I do not fight or play for the score. I just play just to have fun.
Just to have fun? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you 1cc one of these fighters? Without a continue. Now, obviously, Mortal Kombat 1, I mean, you can do different difficulty levels, or at least all the MK games, actually.
And I mean, not really, because still, it's like they're still pretty difficult. So I haven't really had one of those things where I beat the game without a continue. I continued at least like once or twice.
Okay. And when you've showed up for the interviews and stuff, you are in costume, typically. Kind of like you're wearing the kimonos.
Yep.
What was the inspiration to go put on these outfits from Japan?
My dad, he wears them, so he pitched the idea of hey, what? How about we have team kimonos? And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. So the actual logo design itself was designed by my sister, and she basically made mine like a cute gorilla just hanging about, and then my dad, it was a more like serious one, more in tone, kind of giving that intimidating look, like, oh, you don't want to mess with him. But when you look at my logo, it's like it's welcoming.
Mm-hmm. Now, wearing the Japanese outfits, do you? Oh gosh, that's the brutal fatality there. Do you know any martial arts?
No, but I do know like a little bit of boxing, so I mean, not enough to
Purple
fight
laser.
Mike Tyson.
Oops, sorry about that. Thought I
Not
had all
enough
these.
to
Whoops.
yeah.
So you don't know martial. Okay, you don't. Okay. Have you had any interest in trying the martial arts?
I did, but I just never got around to it.
Okay. So you come close. So your dad did the best of 7 against Northern Vale.
Mhm.
You've come close to winning a Blade Wars tournament.
Hmm.
Have you just ever thought of or considered challenging Northern Vale to a best of 7 and see if because you've beaten. Actually, I need to pull that video up, but I'll do that next. You have some victories over Northern Vale. What about best of 7 challenge against him?
See, that's interesting because the thing about it is that it's random. So
Right.
we both may not know what the game is at all, and we may not be good at it, and we're both experimenting. So, I mean, it's possible. It's
Yeah, but
possible, but at the same time, it's like, eh.
I mean, if you don't know what the games are ahead of time, because that's the beauty of it.
Well, yeah, definitely.
It's also luck of the draw, and
Yeah.
sometimes you get 4 games that you're good at, or if you'd like draw Power Stone, at least you're not, the whole thing isn't over after one battle.
Yeah.
I know Damien lost, gosh, it was 4-0, and I was kind of surprised by that. But then thought he would like get at least 1, but didn't work out
Yeah.
that way.
This match right here was very like for WrestleMania, that was very like see it was quite intense because I had no idea how to play Doink, but I only picked him because no one else did. So I was like, okay, let's see what this guy's about. It's a clown.
Right. So you didn't. Well, let me ask you, how much practice did you put in on using Doink before you faced off against the former champ?
None.
None. So
Yes. I just picked him just for quite literally shits and giggles.
And you somehow beat the champ.
Yes.
Now that I hear that, now I'm like thinking that was a major upset, because speaking of a wrestling fan I was over the years, I thought I'd do better playing WrestleMania, and I got beat 2 straight. King Cam Blackman took me out.
Yeah, I used Bret Hart to beat him, but the first round was kind of like a joke.
Yeah. Oh, I guess he did. Oh, I thought you played Doink the entire thing.
No,
he won the first match. Okay.
Yeah, it was an experiment, like a last-minute experiment. So it was just kind of like, okay, the gloves are coming off now. Let's go.
All right.
The comically large gloves are coming off.
King Cam Blackman has joined us in the stream chat. Oh, that's who. I'm sorry. I thought JP responded. It was Brandon Travis. I goofed on that one. You also have the winner you also anniversary won the Sam Award. I can't even remember what. I guess it was Sam's favorite interviewee. Yes, it's going to be Power Stone again. Jose has joined us now. This is going to be he has won a lot. Yes. I should check 1 second, because I think you're the number 2 contender, Blade Wars tournament, as of right now. Yep, you are. So the other bit of news is Shady, who is the reigning champ, is not going to be at Dragon Ball Z tournament.
That's disappointing. Why? How come? How come? How come?
How come Shady's not going to be there? I don't know. He may have had something scheduled way ahead of time, and he believes that the conflict cannot be resolved. Well, for something that many weeks out, I guess it's pretty determinate if you think you're not going to be there.
Yeah,
he's got a trip planned.
Well,
Well,
that's okay. That's good. That's okay, because I guess that means the belt's up for grabs.
There's still belt. There's the interim belt.
Ah.
Yeah. What do you mean it has momentum? Don't you lose all momentum if you sit out the tournament? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, what do you mean he's... Okay, so he's sitting out the tournament, but he's going to be there. I don't get it.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, I don't know. See, the thing about Dragon Ball is that, I mean, very few people can, like, have it to practice on it. Because, I mean, personally for me, I mean, I don't really have the game. So it's like, it's can be hard.
Yeah, I'm going to bring that up in a bit. So we got a tie up here. So you've won. You tied it up, and it's the rubber match. And now he switched fighters, I noticed, because he did Undertaker
now
against Doink and Brett, and now switched to Shawn Michaels. Now I played Shawn Michaels throughout. Just had to learn one fighter. Okay. Gosh, I've got some catch up to do here. Jeez.
Someone's got to
my
do their
week has
homework.
been. Well, the thing of the matter is, I'm juggling several balls in the air, even though I'm not doing much with the wrestling scene anymore, apart from film for one promotion, maybe make a flyer for somebody, but there's show prep for this, but also I'm still I have to practice games because I'm losing ground, and because I focused on the fighting game tournaments for a bit, stuff is being picked off one by one, and I'll get to that in a little while. But I'm on the brink of losing 2 more scores, and so I don't know. I'm trying to keep my head above water, and it's not working. I don't know what to do. And it's kind of like I need to have a 3-day weekend up there, but it seems I have to do some other things. So I don't know I don't know when I'm going to get back up there. Oh, anything else that you have coming up? I mean, there's tournaments coming up besides Bloody Wars. Is there anything you want to plug?
Anything I want to plug? Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, I mostly do this stuff for fun, so I'm probably just gonna play games just to have fun with them, kind of like how I'm doing right now with MK1. You know, just playing it, enjoying it, doing a bit of invasions, experimenting with other characters like Kenshi. Let's see, maybe like a bit of Johnny Cage and all that stuff. Yeah, playing Street Fighter 6 because yeah, Akuma's coming. So
I should ask you this. Well, let me ask you this one. Let's say you're tasked with designing a fighting game. how would you go about it? I'm not talking about coding and stuff, but kind of the style, I guess. The style of fighter, or like characters you'd want to have, and whether it's a mixture of, let's say, people, creatures, or robots, or the undead. What would you envision as a fighting game you create? That may be a tough one. I just
A
came up
fighting
with
game
that
that
one
I
off the top of my head.
Well, I probably it probably had the same elements to like around maybe Street Fighter and of course Mortal Kombat. Like it's very diverse. Like there's a lot of fighters from all these other different like places around the world, while also like having a bit of like history behind where they come from and why they're fighting in the first place.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's definitely it definitely does have those elements. So it'd probably be like a crossover between the two and like a
Mhm.
mixture.
You know what?
So
I should ask it this way.
Hmm.
I know Mugen has been used to create these special King of Fighters, where they basically pull characters from every doggone fighting franchise and throw them together into one game.
Oh yeah.
If you created one, who would be in it? And from which fighters would you pull from?
Honestly, I'd probably just go crazy and just start pulling people that aren't even fighters. Probably like people like Garfield or something. Because I mean, it would be hilarious if you just have like.
Oh man, I gotta get Mugen again.
I think about it. It's like imagine just this god of death versus an orange cat,
Mhm.
and then it's just the. I mean, the combinations and the matchups would just be hilarious.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely do have like fighting characters, but also like having like maybe a cartoon character here and there. Like I mean, it'd be hilarious if we like I don't know SpongeBob or we got SpongeBob SquarePants versus let's see Static Shock.
Wow. Mugen for Bloody Wars, yeah. There's a whole Michael Jackson in a fighting game. Jeez. I do recall that there was a campaign to put Shaggy from the Scooby-Doo franchise into Mortal Kombat for some reason. I don't know why.
That's because he's gonna solo everyone. He's just gonna murder everyone.
I don't know what made him a fighter, because he's usually running from monsters or people in costumes.
See, he's just holding back. He wants you to think he's not a fighter, but in his downtime, he's running hands. I mean,
I don't
if
know.
you've seen the what's funny is that if you see one of the Mortal Kombat Legends movies, the Warner Bros. Logo has Scorpion, and all of a sudden you just see Shaggy like drag him into Netherrealm, and then in multiverses he's canonically like this powerful being. Because yeah, he literally throws a sandwich at you. He powers up into Super Saiyan, and apparently he's got abs in that.
Sounds
He
like
just is
anime. Sounds like he has his toon powers combined with anime. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
he does. He
I
definitely
guess
does.
that just, but I don't know who came up with the concept. That's the real curious question I have, is who came up with it? Because I don't.
That is a good question. Like it was a meme like for a time it was a meme, and then I guess people at Warner Brothers was like, you know what? Shit, that's a good idea. Let's do it. That's actually a good idea. Write that down.
All right.
But yeah, it would be interesting if we did have like a Mugen for Bloody Wars, because all the different fighters and combinations would just be hilarious.
You know, all the fuss has been over that, that one series, which I think is now finally been canceled because it was not a good homage to the original cartoon. And I think the creators didn't really like the source material so much, so they just tried to make the characters look as bad as possible. It's the Velma series. They basically, I don't know if you saw that, but
Much to my dismay, I've seen the first season.
yeah, and they're not going to do, I don't know
I'm
why
not.
they even did a second.
That's because they profit. It seems like they profit off the backlash. Like people watched it to see how bad it was, and they took the views and were like, "That's money, baby. Let's make a second one." It was just so out there and random. It was strange. Like it was fine. Like if you had the idea without the whole Scooby-Doo concept, it was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be one of those shows. But adding that extremely thin layer of Scooby-Doo kind of threw the whole thing off. And then they try
Yeah.
to pass it off as like a prequel series, like, oh, this is the origin, this is how it happened, this is how the band got together. It's like, really? It seems to me
And
like
they turned away from that direction. They turned away and went somewhere else.
It felt more like a self-insert. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it just seems none of the characters kind of fit their thing, their themes. Like what makes them is like, no, get out of there. And yeah, especially no Scooby, and that's the biggest deal breaker for me. Is like, you're not gonna have Scooby do a Scooby-Doo series? Are you high?
Yeah, I didn't. It seems like all the old stuff is getting popular again, so people are going back and watching old stuff. They don't care about the new stuff, and well, just a note: WB supposedly sold the movie off to another studio, so it will come out at some point. Acme versus Coyote, and it better. I don't know why you'd spend all the money to make a movie and then not release it. It's like for a tax write-off. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I don't think you're saving any money by blowing up $100 million. It's like, are you paying more than $100 million in taxes? Like $200 million in taxes or $2 billion in taxes? It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, plus you blew all that money from, it's like, what's the point? Anyway.
Yeah. They're trying to be, I guess they're trying to like be connected and attuned with younger audiences, but it feels like even the younger audiences are like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Got a few other random questions since I wanted to give you a fair amount of time to Dan Perez, because you're relatively new on the gaming scene. So let me ask you this. Is there anything you want other gamers to know about you that isn't known currently?
Well, yeah, I'm not particularly a very combo intuitive person. Like you see all these people doing like these crazy combos and getting a win off of them. Like if you play Tekken 7 and you play Akuma, there's this like a death combo that kills someone in an instant. Yeah, no, I'm not like that. I'm just more of a slow and steady bread and butter type of guy.
Kind of like Peacemaker in MK1, which is one of those,
Yeah.
or at least it seemed like it.
Yeah, until the other guy, yeah, Shady, just said, yeah, no, Peacemaker is crazy.
Retro versus modern, which do you like better?
Retro.
Retro. Where do you see video games in the next 20 years?
I believe that in the next 20 years, they'll definitely advance. Like, hopefully not backwards, but, just enough to where it's still connected to its original predecessors, Because, you got games that are pixelated and, then they turn to, like, 3D, and then they're like, oh, yeah, these graphics are insane. But then you got, people who make games who sort of like dive back into its originality, kind of like horror games. For example, like you play Bendy and the Ink Machine. It takes this concept of old cartoons and you turn it into a horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. So I believe that they will evolve, but they will still try to make more games that are connected and linked to its original retro design.
There's been a lot of chatter about we're in the process of a video game crash. Not like the one in 1983, 1984, but this one's taken a completely different form. AAA studios and they're trying to inject unwanted political messaging into games, which nobody wants to pay $60, $70, $80 for a glorified campaign commercial. And so now the attention's been focused on the indie game scene and maybe AA. What are your thoughts about it, if you have any?
Well, I haven't really heard about that until now. So, I mean, like a very controversial political campaign, you mean?
Well, let's say what they did with Suicide Squad. Made our beloved superheroes look bad in every way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah, that was definitely not a way for Kevin Conroy to go out. I'm sorry. I feel like they could have at least stopped with Arkham Knight because at least then it gives you like a somewhat of a satisfying conclusion to the Batman arc. And besides, everyone knows like Batman's like unkillable at this point. I mean, he
was killed, but
I mean, they're probably gonna bring him back somehow. Maybe, I don't know, because I mean, he's Batman.
Right. Have you learned anything from playing video games?
I definitely have learned that there are definitely I definitely did learn how to like be better, like learn how to like take risks when fighting. So it's like I play mostly safe, but then there are other times where it's like, okay, I just gotta go in. I gotta go in, shoot my shot, and this might work.
Mm-hmm. Do you think now you play the fighting games? Do you believe some of them they've gotten too violent, and do they lead to violence and basically cause people to get violent? Cause violence in the society.
Yeah, that is sort of a like a. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think fighting games are too violent. I mean, if you look at it from a Mortal Kombat perspective, it's like no one's really gonna try to uppercut someone's head off or shoot fire and lightning out of their hands to kill people. I mean, the violence portrayed in video games are mostly fantasy, so it's like you can't really you can't really reflect that in the real world. I mean, then there's like the argument for like shooter games, but at the same time, it's like, where are you gonna get the gun?
Right.
And yeah, I mean, one of my teachers showed me like this meme about video games causing violence, but then literally back in the old days, people like burned people alive for being witches. So it's like,
yeah, that's going back to the 1600s,
Well, yeah.
1700s.
Well, yeah, I mean, people were violent before video games were a thing. So I mean,
Although I think that was more religion-based motivation there.
yeah, I believe so. But I mean, yeah, most of the stuff that games do portray are mostly fantasy, and they aren't really real. So I mean, it's an argument between like, oh, it is and it isn't. So yeah.
Well, and if you're going to blame Hollywood, if you're going to blame video games for violence, I mean, you could also blame a ton of different Hollywood movies.
Oh yeah, like.
But they don't because, the actors are going to squawk at the journalists, say, "How dare you blame me for what this, that, and the other?" Even though they're saying, "Oh, I advocate for gun control," and then they're shooting an AK-47 in a movie. Like,
yeah.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah.
Don't glorify something you oppose. That bugs me. Which console company is your favorite?
All right. I mean, I do definitely like alternate from Xbox to PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And PC.
And PC, of course. I mean, they do have a lot of games that I do enjoy, like the Lego games were on Xbox, God of War and Spider-Man were on PlayStation, and MK1 and Street Fighter 6 were on PC. So I definitely do feel like a strong connection between the three. But if I did have to pick it, it would probably have to be the PlayStation, because they got Spider-Man. They have those Spider-Man games, so I'm just like,
All right. So I believe I've come to the end of your interview. So now I think we're going to switch gears and do the round table. I wanted to give you your time because it's been a little chaotic trying to prepare, and I had decided not to write as much on the notepad to ask, and then it ends up I didn't really need it, and I'm like going 2 hours. 2 hours elapse, fly by, and before it's like, wow, this interview really moved along, and I didn't have to write a bunch of stuff because I was able to do everything off the top of my head. But I don't think it worked as well this week, but maybe because there's too much going on. I don't know. All right, so I brought back Dan Perez, and for the roundtable segment, each one of you, I'll ask you both a question, and tell me what you think. Favorite fighting game character of all time? Aiden?
I definitely do think it's Goki / Akuma.
Dan?
Ryu.
It's going to be close between Ryu or Ken. But then again, they're kind of mirror images.
I've gone back and forth over the years. Like I was Ken Masters. Like there was a certain point, probably from maybe like late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was probably Ultra 4 where I switched back to Ryu.
Okay.
And then it was all Ken for me. But now, it started Ryu, Ken, then Ryu. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I asked
like-
Aiden this. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I really like the whole concept with Akuma because his whole existence was a mystery back in like Street Fighter 2. Everyone saw him like, who's this? Who's this? Well, he just easily took down the final boss, and then it gets players thinking, oh, he's a bigger threat. And as the time went on, he became more of a popular character, so much so that he just said screw it and started going into other fighting games like Tekken 7 or what was that, Asura's Wrath. It's like he's just everywhere.
Close second is Nina from Tekken 3. So I asked Aiden. Well, I guess I'll ask both of you again. Do you have any idea to challenge any of the house highs at the Galloping Ghost? Now, Matthew Nada took down some world records on some fighters, but he did them at home and submitted them to Twin Galaxies, even though he lives close by the Ghost. I asked him, will he put in a score at the Ghost? And it's like, didn't seem too interested in that. What about you guys?
No, not for me. I'm just, you can catch me on Blitz or NBA Jam or, I'll play. I like head-to-head competition. That's my thing.
Aiden?
Yeah, I don't particularly like do it for the competition of getting the high score. I just sort of do it to like just to sort of have fun with it. See. Oh yeah, I did this.
All right. What should be the next Bloody Wars game? Now we already know it's going to be Power Stone for the second time. But if you pick the game, what would you choose?
I got it. Street Fighter Alpha 2.
Street Fighter Alpha 2. Aiden?
Yeah, I probably say like maybe Street Fighter 2, like Champion Edition. Very, very old and classic game.
I want Soul Calibur 2. So if you okay, so the next question is Galloping Ghost is coming up on game 1000. If you chose it, or if you have an idea of what you think it is, what should game 1000 be?
I'm gonna go with Capcom All Stars. I heard Doc got it. I've been kind of feeling him out on the Monday Mystery chat. I'm like, you got it. He's kind of hinted that he does. So, well, we'll see. It's got to be one of these games coming up. If he has it. I don't know if it'd be 1000, but that'd be a pretty good one. But I mean, obviously, Dark Presence. I mean, what? It's got. I don't know if it's not Dark Presence. What really could it be? I don't know.
Yeah, I have something to say about the Dark Presence documentary in a bit.
Yeah, I saw Doc. He was on Maximilian Dude's podcast with Justin Wong and the Triple KO. And that was, if you know, you guys watch it, it's a pretty good podcast putting Brookfield, Illinois on the map. But they were talking about the Doc may have that prototype, and Doc was hinting that he did, and Justin Wong and Maximilian Dude were like, if you put that game in, we're gonna hop on a plane and we're gonna be at the Ghost to check it out. So
that'd be crazy.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think he was there a few years ago, Maximilian Dude, but
and he's on Twitch.
Yeah.
Aiden?
Game 1000. Well, I definitely think it might have to be like, if not a retro game, it might be a modern game. So it would be interesting to see if they do like manage to put either Tekken 8 or Street Fighter 6 back on in like a cabinet. Since we do have Street Fighter 5, it'd be like okay, we got Street Fighter 6, or if we have Tekken 7, then we could have Tekken 8.
And they do have an arcade edition of Street Fighter 6, so that is a possibility. I don't know if there's an arcade edition of Tekken 8. I know all the other Tekkens had an arcade release. So we'll have to see on that one.
Yeah, I saw that arcade Street Fighter 6. He's got to get that, man. He's got to get that.
They have Street Fighter 5, but it's like for some reason it's
like one player, right?
I don't understand.
A Street Fighter game that's only one player. That is alien to me.
I don't get that either. So
and I don't know if it's like it just won't. Maybe it's the type of cab it is, because it's like it will only allow 2 players if they're linked. If it's 2 linked cabs together.
Yeah, JP had talked with Dad about that, and like saying if we do have a Street Fighter 5 on there, he's gonna have to like do something with the cabinet to make sure that it is 2-player rather than 1 player.
Says it's a back-to-back type cabinet. Well, I guess you're gonna only be able to play 2 players if at somewhere like round 1.
Sure
Although
you can wire up another one somehow.
Oh, the board's only 1 player? That's ridiculous. I don't know why they didn't. I don't get it. But
Capcom.
I don't know. It runs on Windows 10, by the way, which is crazy. But I think a lot of the reason when arcade games are run on the Windows environment. So I don't know. Anyway, if either one of you were to happen to win the Gamer of the Year title, the Gamer of the Year gets to choose which game they want to put on the arcade floor. Which one would you choose? Which game? That's not on the floor now, and I pretty much know what's all on the floor, believe it or not.
Power Stone 2.
Power Stone 2. Aiden? By the way, get well soon, Norbert and Michelle.
Yeah.
They're feeling under the weather and not going to be fun dealing with it.
So good.
I hope they're doing all right too. But yeah, if they do have an arcade, it probably would be nice if they do have Brawlhalla. That's another fighting game that's kind of like it's kind of like Smash, but not really. It's just more like these obscure characters fighting, and the DLC characters are more of a crossover because you have people from Street Fighter. What was it? They had Rayman, Steven Universe. That was really interesting.
You know what? I think I have. Let me put this on the screen because I don't never seen this. Is this a console game or is this an arcade?
Well, I mean, if it can be an arcade, it probably would. But it is on Steam. You can get it on Steam.
Okay,
but if in case, game.
Yeah, I think it's a console game because I don't think this has an arcade release. But let's say if this isn't an arcade game, what would be the next pick? I guess that's released in a cabinet. And I have Foxy's, which is kind of like this.
Yeah.
If you're not sure.
Yeah, I'm probably not sure. I mean, there's a lot of games out there, so I mean, it will be interesting to see more obscure games that we haven't really heard about.
Okay. So a lot of the gamers have trading cards. Have you maybe would like, if you were to get your trading card, I guess what would be, you know what? I don't know where I'm going with this question, but would you like to get your own trading card and how would you get it?
A card? What do you mean card? Like
a trading card, like oh,
okay. I see.
These. The Walter Day. Let me Maybe
Kind of like
make
kind of like kind of
myself
like,
full
kind of like
screen.
Pokemon cards.
Well, they're not quite like Pokemon cards, but they're Twin Galaxies. Walter Day.
Okay.
Several of the gamers have cards. I even have 2 right now.
That's the first I've heard of them. So you got to earn them, or how did you acquire them?
So a major gaming accomplishment has to be done. And for this card here, this is for winning the 1991 Nintendo Campus Challenge. So that was a national tournament back in the early 90s on the first original Nintendo. I know I've interviewed the person who has the world record, Paul Tessie, on my tournament cartridge. This card here was gotten because I won Gamer of the Year in 2021.
Nice. Yeah, I think the first tournament I ever did was this something. It was probably could have been in 89, 90. It was probably in 90 because that
Okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was really hot at the time in the arcade. And my old man took me to this thing. It was called the Tournament of Power. It was like downtown in the West Loop, and they had, it was kind of like, it was definitely I never seen a free play arcade before. It was something that was like, this didn't exist back then, but you paid to get in, and everything was on free play, which was very exciting. And they had a lot of pinball, and yeah, I remember that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cabinet was hot. They had probably like a dozen of them back to back, and you just walk up to it, play it. And they did have like a tournament part where they had like a big screen. They had Rad Racer, Tetris, games like that you competed. Probably Super Mario 3. I remember competing. Obviously, I didn't do very good. I was like 10 or 11 years old, but that was pretty fun. I think that was probably the first time I got a taste of like tournament gaming. Yeah, for sure.
So this is coming up.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah.
This is now Combo Starters, I guess the pre-show to the Combo Breaker, which is going to be in Schaumburg, Illinois, at the McCormick Center. Either one of you planning to enter?
I might enter 6. I might enter 6. We'll see.
Yeah, I might enter 6 too, because 6 is definitely up there. But although Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it is an oldie but a goodie.
How come they got the Mortal Kombat 1 up there?
So this is Combo Starter, which is on the 23rd.
This is just I see. Okay.
It's the pre-show. Now, let me pull this other screen back up. We're on the Combo Breaker website. It's going to be during all Memorial Day weekend, and Strider IU says it's going to be the same weekend as the Anime Central. Yeah.
I'm hoping to see a lot of cosplays there.
So the tournaments that weekend, they got the list. There is Killer Instinct,
Guilty Gear,
Blaze Blue, yep. DNF Duel, which I'm not familiar with. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, not familiar with that one. GGA has a Guilty Gear game. They also have Gear Mark of the Wolves. Obviously, a King of Fighter. This was another.
Guilty, I never heard of that.
This, I've seen it. It's kind of a bizarre fighter. I know somebody would kill if that was one of the milestone games, like, I don't know, a game 1000, and would just run out there and play.
Who's that? Who's into that one?
That would have been Daniel Siam, Blonde Bunny, who hasn't been to the arcade in a few years. Kind of left the scene because of I don't know, fear of COVID or something. Kind of bizarre.
Street Fighter 3, Third Strike. There it is.
Third Strike. That's cool.
Samurai Showdown, and they've got that one at the Ghost. Smash Brothers Melee. I used to be decent at it, but I haven't played in years, and it shows because I've been demolished every time I play in one of these tournaments. Tekken 8.
Oh, Smash Bros. Ultimate. I know a friend who's like insane with Kazuya and Ultimate.
That's at the
I've
bottom.
never been a fan of Smash Brothers. I don't know why. I just doesn't resonate with me.
It's the thing about it is that the reason why people like it is that it's so chaotic. It's like it's very out there. So it's not your typical fighting game where it's like, okay, it's 1v1, you just clash. But yeah, no, it's very chaotic, and they do have a Ryu and Ken in Ultimate. It's just thing about it is like they're not really chaotic characters like you would see in maybe Mario or Donkey Kong.
Although I kind of suspect this one is kind of like Smash Bros.
Oh, I believe so too.
Although
Like
I don't know
Smash.
who's in it. And then this GGA has this one.
Darkstalkers.
Marvel
Yeah.
Capcom.
Yeah, this game was part of my best of 7 challenge, so that's Combo Breaker. That's coming up Memorial Day weekend. I will not be there for that. Of course, this is all out my wheelhouse. I'm okay, but I don't stand a chance. It's not my.
That's the thing. Like I don't stand a chance going into something like this. I might just go for fun, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, but the thing is, you got all these fighting games in your garage, and you have these in-house tournaments, and you even have a championship title or a trophy or something that you've given out.
You know, it's fun though. It's all fun and games, but like playing these for like these guys are professionals. You know, like.
Yeah.
Well, how good do you have to be?
You got to be good. You got to be good.
Yeah, you got to be like pulling off combos like I don't know, like 30 hit combos in one go.
You know, I can hold my own online. The mechanics of these games too are just so elaborate. It's not like it used to be, especially in like Street Fighter 6. I mean, I've had to completely change the way that I've been playing for 30 years just to switch to that game. I mean, it's crazy. I've had to completely throw everything that I've learned out the window and relearn. It's like it's all hitboxes and pads now. And the reason why is because of the mechanics of the game. It's just playing and I don't even think a game like Street Fighter 6 would do that well in the arcade. Because you'd just be confined to playing on the arcade stick. And I would say probably most people don't play it that way.
Yeah. I know a friend who's played mostly with controller, and when Mortal Kombat 1 was out, he's like, oh, okay. But then I told him that it was only joystick. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Because he has to like get readjusted with the whole stick when he was so attuned with kind of like that, just more PS4.
Yeah, you look at like all the top players in the world right now, they're all using hitbox and pads. Like nobody's playing on arcade stick anymore. It's because of the mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
Although some of the games on this list are the classic arcade games, so if they like Gear Mark of the Wolves, that's Neo Geo. Obviously Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, and Vampire Savior.
But it's like, how many CPS3 machines are they bringing in there? You know, probably not any. Are you playing on the original hardware? I doubt it, but who knows?
I hope they are, but
I doubt it. Maybe.
I got something to say about that in a little bit.
Do you know how expensive a Third Strike original goes for? It's crazy.
I mean, with how many people are there, they're probably getting a lot of money out of it. So, I mean, they might have some to spare.
You that, or well, they're holding Well, for a convention like this with this many fighters and so much attention, I mean, they have to know some people who have the units to bring them in.
Yeah.
I feel like most people are bringing in their own device to use. I don't know. I don't know the rules. I don't know how it works. I'm just assuming. I'm assuming a lot of things right now.
Yeah, they might bring their own like fighting stick because I know some people who do that.
I'd be shocked if they're bringing in originals for all that stuff.
Well, actually, since there's been questions about original hardware and stuff, the Arcade Wars Game of the Month is Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair. I've been wondering, did anybody actually have this arcade game on the arcade floor? I suspected no. Well, it's kind of yes and no. They have the game, but not the original board. They're playing on a Pandora's box.
Well, that doesn't count, does it?
No, I don't think so. And so, unless Galbing Ghost is not going to participate in Arcade Wars this month unless they have the original hardware. Doc is a purist.
Yeah.
No multicades unless the game is naturally a multicade like Three Wonders or basically a Neo Geo unit, because you got to put it's a 6-slot machine. I know a couple of Namco arcade releases were multis. There's like Namco Collection 1 and 2 had 3 games in it, and then the arranged versions of each. So there's like 6 in 1. But yeah, unless it's original hardware, he does not want it on the arcade floor. Now, excluding the Mortal Kombats in their own custom cabinets and stuff. But, well, I think we're at the end of this. Let me review my slides because I think there might have been something else. Nope, I don't believe so. Any final words from both of you?
Yeah, just thanks for having me on. It's been fun. And like I said, we'll get some more events going on this summer. And Aiden, you and your old man want to come out? It'd be kind of fun. But we'll see what's going on. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the next Bloody Wars tournament. And yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And thanks for having us.
Anybody you want to call out for a challenge?
Not particularly a challenge, just a little message. Everyone, I hope to see you all at the tournament, and give it your all.
All right. I should have did word association. Well, I might as well do it. I'm going to give you a name. I'm going to ask your thoughts about them. These players. We'll start with Norbert Vale.
Norbert's a good gamer, man. He's definitely somebody to look out for. I mean, I haven't gotten to play him too much. We played a little bit in my garage, but I was running around doing too much. I couldn't really sit down and play. So the next time Norbert's comes through, I'd like to play him more for sure.
Aiden?
He is definitely a great player. He has a lot of potential. I mean, he wouldn't have the title if he wasn't. I mean, he really is a good player. So I mean, yeah, he's all right. He's all right. He's a good guy, and you know, this is what he does, and this is fun for him.
Brandon Travis. He may not be the best fighting game player, but apparently he's dangerous enough to take out he took out a defending champion. So
he took me out. He took me out in was it wrestling? I think it was. Yeah,
WrestleMania.
The King Cam. Yeah, I felt his wrath. So you know.
I am graduating this year. Next
Oh
month.
wow, a couple more weeks, huh? Congratulations.
Yep, just gotta finish off the rest of the school and year days, and yeah, we'll be good.
Thoughts
I'll
on
go quick. We'll go quick.
Travis?
Well, I believe he is yes, definitely a good man. I love his little Alistair profile picture. Definitely love that. And yeah, I mean he's cool.
Jose. That's your Libre. Vasquez.
Fierce competitor. Jose's a fierce competitor. I've gone against him a few times, and we've had some doozies already. So I look forward to more matches with Jose in the future. Very talented player.
Aiden?
He's a good sport. You know, he knows when they really give it their all, and yeah, he doesn't particularly like he's not like a sore winner about it. He's a really fair fighter.
Jim Patzer.
I could jump in on talking about Jose.
Oh,
if I
go
can.
ahead. Yeah.
That guy's got a lot of heart. Just all heart. I have nothing bad to say about Jose.
So
the cheesehead from up north. That guy cracks you up. No, I watched your stream with him last week, and I found it really I don't know, entertaining. I don't know if that's the right word, about just hearing like his thought process, playing some of these games and how he tackles going for some of those high scores. I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, that's more than my brain can. That's why I guess I'm not a high score gamer, because my brain doesn't work like that. So yeah, I found that very interesting. Some of the stuff he was saying about how he goes about it, especially that bust and move. I love that game. I'm not very good at it, but I love it.
Aiden?
Yeah, I believe he's very critical thinker. He's definitely has the muscle memory to be a good competitor in these games.
Israel Bahina, the Beast Man.
The Beast Man, yeah.
Mm.
I've been going at it a lot with him. Sakura's been getting up in that ass. No, he's a great competitor, really skilled. I have a lot of fun going back and forth with him for sure. And I'll have to get him next time in Capcom versus SNK too.
Aiden?
Yeah, I do agree with that. He is a talented fighter, and yeah, he is a good player.
Last one. Chris Blackie.
I don't really have much experience with him. I heard he's the legend and stuff. I got a up close, look at his gameplay at the MK1. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? He's good. I had a lot of I really enjoyed seeing Shady and him go head to head. That was something for sure.
Aiden?
Yeah, he's an insane Mortal Kombat player. When I fought him, it was like he was practically untouchable. Like I definitely had a hard time closing in. He does know how to lay down pressure, and yeah, when I fought him, I lost. I wasn't even mad because it was just like he was good about it, yeah, that Shady versus Placky, that was insane. And even more insane was how JP just had a Placky versus Vale shirt right underneath his other one. He was just waiting for that opportunity.
All right. I want to thank you both for joining me here tonight. I managed to fill 2 hours and some change despite all the technical difficulties. What was misspelled, Norbert? Did I misspell something? I don't know what he spelled. I'll get to that later. Well, thank you both for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
I hope to see. I'll see you at the next. Oh, I misspelled Placky. Oh, yeah, the shirt. Yes. Okay, now I remember. The shirt had misspelling on it, and yeah, everybody was giving JP Pitts a hard time over that, and that was like, how could you have gotten that wrong? Because you printed the shirt before. All right. All right. I hope to see you around. You did it twice? Damn. Okay, then. All right. Well, I hope to see you around the arcade soon. Maybe I can join you in the DanCade one of these the next time around, assuming that I have no conflicts. But good grief. I've got some ground to make up, and I have to do it at some point. Otherwise, if I even have any idea of winning Gamer of the Year again, I got to do something. So, we bid you adieu, but everybody stick around because I gotta plug some things on my way out here. So, thank you for joining me, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, a little bit of news before I get out of here. So I mentioned Combo Breaker. There's also the Illinois Game Con in Bloomington, Illinois, Bloomington Normal. That'll be on the west side of town. They've just released the schedule of events. Yeah, there's going to be a Super Smash Brothers tournament. There's also going to be Halo 3 and Mario Kart and Guitar Hero and probably NBA Jam. That one's pretty well close to me. So I'll be there for that tournament. It is our convention. That is a one-day convention on June the 1st. That's coming up, gosh, the weekend after Memorial Day weekend. As I mentioned earlier, yeah, Blade Wars tournament, June 23rd, 2024. There is an entry fee, 4 p.m. start time on that. Little bit of news on the Best of 7 challenge, and I didn't bring it up, but JP Pitts has been saying I owe him that match. So I believe there's been a little bit of I've made a little bit of progress on resolving an unresolved problem. I'm kind of satisfied, and I know I talked with somebody this week about it. So, step in the right direction. I think the Best of 7 challenge will happen very soon. Got one more or two steps to go before that matchup can take place. Also, I am involved in a documentary, and I'll bring this up here. Yes, there's me. So, been wondering, this was supposed to be the month where Ghost Lord, the quest for Dark Presence, and there's been chatter about that being game number 1000. Documentaries are very long projects, and you have hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage to go through, and then you're snipping a bunch of pieces together to make like a 2-hour film, I believe. I don't know how long they're going to make this movie, but the rough cut was supposed to be completed this month, but it looks like that's going to be pushed back. I don't know how far into the future. Here's another trailer. I'll put this on mute while I'm talking. Dark Presence obviously is not finished yet either. They did have the machine out at C2E2 for people. It was an older build, of course. It's not done yet. There was issues with the graphics with the final boss. That would be the Mind Master. when you do a leg sweep, the character looks a little funny. So I don't know. Maybe the documentary will release at the same time that the quest or Dark Presence is finally finished. They've been saying, is this going to be game 1000? It could be, but we don't know. And I don't know either. They did hire a new programmer to kind of squash all the remaining bugs or do final things coding to the program. Obviously, they released a new track for a stage for Titan. If you hadn't heard it, I would go to Galvin Ghost Arcade's Twitch page to listen to that track. Now, who's my guest next week? Well, I was asking, should I move the podcast up to 9 o'clock? Because the days are getting longer, and maybe people would be more apt to tune into the podcast if it was after sundown. Well, let me put it this way. If you're wanting to be a guest on the Crimeycade and want to appear in a future episode, do whisper to me here on Twitch or send me an email at lucasst.geo@gmail.com. That's not my primary email. That's a secondary. I created a secondary email address just that has less clutter in it, but also to have a little bit more hard drive space to send files to other folks. But guess what? I do have my guest for next week. It's going to be this person. Eric Pearl from Canada. He placed third at T20 in 2023. He's currently ranked number 9 in the power rankings. So Eric Pearl is able to join me, and the start time for that will be 9 o'clock to accommodate him. He's going to be in the Eastern time zone. So it's going to be 9 p.m. Central Time. Will be the next episode of the Crimeycade podcast, and I hope you can join us for that. So that will do it for this edition of the Crimeycade podcast. I am going to rate a channel. I am going to send everybody over to the Nintendo Dads podcast. Yeah, we're halfway through on that one. I prefer to send it another game, but you know what? I think this is a good one to send it to. So, all right. I'm going to see you later. Have a good night, everybody.